DC versus Marvel and the Amalgam universe are notorious for being one of the few times that Marvel and DC Comics did a crossover event with each other. Welcome to the Comicstorian Full Story series, where we take collections of complete stories, put them together into one long video to give you a better viewing experience. 7 years ago, we covered the DC versus Marvel crossover here on the channel, and somehow it never made its way to the Full Story series until today. Hulk vs. Superman, Aquaman vs. Namor, Flash vs. Quicksilver, Shazam vs. Thor, and oh so much more. This was an event that happened during the 90s, and so keep in mind, these are the 90s versions of those heroes. But I think I've talked too much. It's time for DC vs. Marvel. I hope you enjoy.
Our tale begins with Spider-Man swinging through the city of New York. He's happy because recently he had to deal with the entire clone saga, and it's left him wanting to get back to normal. You know, the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. But as usual, things can never go well for Spider-Man as he feels his spider sense going off, and down in an alley he sees a big box glowing and spewing light. The beams are dancing off of the walls and into the night, and Spider-Man knows that he should go down and check it out before it's too late, except it is already too late as he's hit with a beam full on. And poof! Our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is gone. But the light is so bright that it attracts another person, a young man walking through the streets. He turns the alley to see the box glowing brightly, and he asks the man sleeping in the front of it with a hat if he's okay. He wakes up startled, then he puts his hands over the beams of light, pouring out shouting, "It's too soon!" He turns to the boy telling him, "I need your help!" The boy isn't quite sure what to do. This is kind of crazy as a glowing box and this man is trying to contain it. Meanwhile, Spider-Man finds himself in a rainy city, a dark and gloomy city, and in front of him is a clown. A clown with green hair and a white face. And Spider-Man asks, "Where is he?" And the Joker replies with, "No, no, no, no! The question is, who are you?" Spider-Man stands up and the Joker tells him, "Well, Spider-Man, I presume, but it looks like you've changed tailors since our last tangle." Spider-Man is confused because this version of Spider-Man doesn't remember the last crossover, the Batman-Spider-Man crossover. He asks the Joker when the circus came to New York, and the Joker looks at him funnier than usual. "New York? Dear boy, this fair gem is Gotham, famed far and wide for its flying rodents and murderous disfigured psychopaths." Spider-Man asks him, "What's Gotham?" "Ha! That's rich. It reminds me of a joke. Actually, everything reminds me of a joke. But that's not the point. You're in Gotham. And if you don't know that much, then you have a serious reality problem." So Spider-Man looks at the Joker. "Okay, well then explain to me why there's a clown on the roof of this building." "Oh, this? I was thinking about blowing it up." "You're a riot. Look, something's pretty weird here and I'd like some questions answered. You haven't even told me who you are." So the Joker hands him a playing card and he leaps off at the side of the building using an umbrella to slow his descent. Spider-Man looks down to find the Joker playing card, asking, "Can someone tell me what's going on?" But over in Westchester, the X-Men are in a heated fight with the Juggernaut. Gambit, Storm, and Wolverine are all going to town fighting against him, and as Wolverine goes in for the big hit, the Juggernaut vanishes, and he suddenly punches a wall where Wolverine was. The Juggernaut looks around confused because he swears that he was just in the jungle and about to pummel Wolverine, and above him is a rather famous symbol, the Daily Planet. That's when a blur of blue comes down, hitting him hard, and there stands Superman, mullet and all. Back in the alley in New York, the man with the hat looks at the box, now covered in duct tape to stop it from breaking. He rubs his head, telling himself, "It should hold." And then another beam of light pokes through, and another, and another. He puts his hands up to stop it and he realizes that he can't hold it back any longer. Meanwhile, at the Statue of Liberty, Captain America jumps in, blocking bullets from the Hydra agents. "You don't have enough heads to keep me down, Hydra." And the bullets bounce off of his shield. He kicks one, using the shield to drop another, and then a bright light engulfs him and poof, he's gone. The Hydra agent in front of him asks where he even went. In another spot, Wonder Woman is holding up a bridge, keeping it from falling on a police officer. After wrapping up the bridge's metal to keep it in place, the light engulfs her, and poof, she's gone as well. Over in a field, the Hulk breaks a tree, shouting, "Hulk smash!" And Betty picks up the sticks, telling him to stop. "Don't do that, Bruce. It reminds me of the dark days for us." Hulk smiles. "Sorry, Betty. I'm certainly not the Hulk that I used to be. No more rampaging monster, and I got brains to boot. Plus, I have a beautiful wife at my side." Then the bright light grabs the Hulk, removing him, leaving Betty to ask, What is it this time? Over on a bright and sunny beach, Superboy is showing off his strength by lifting up 2 bikini girls at the exact same time. Unbelievable, right? Tana walks over yelling at him and he tries to talk his way out of the situation that he just got himself into. But before he can, the bright light arrives, grabbing him and removing him. Out in space, Lobo is having his own fun running rampant on the aliens. Well, that is until he's also hit with the bright light, which removes him from his fight as he's shouting, "What the frag?" Then the alien is left thankful that he's alive. Meanwhile, at the Xavier School for the Gifted Youngsters, or whatever it is at this time period, the X-Men are left to wonder what that light was and where Juggernaut went. But before they can come to any conclusions, it engulfs Wolverine, Gambit, and Storm, as Gambit tells Beast, "This is the same light." Scott asks where they went, but Xavier answers the bigger question: who's next? Across 2 universes, both completely different, yet so much is the same. Green Lantern, Electra, Flash, Thor, Aquaman, Silver Surfer, Shazam, Submariner, Quicksilver, and Catwoman are all hit with the all-encompassing bright light. And then down in the Batcave, Batman is telling an intruder, "Whoever you are, I don't know how you got in here, but release the boy right now." That's when we see Bullseye has Tim Drake, the current Robin, hostage. Bullseye tells him, "Explain where I am and how I get out of here. And while you're at it, who are you?" Batman glares at him. "If you hurt that boy, I will be your worst nightmare. I'm Batman." Bullseye puts his knife underneath Tim's mask, cutting it. So Tim elbows him in the jaw, and as he's stunned, Batman throws a batarang at him. Except Bullseye catches it, throwing it right back. Luckily, to Bullseye's shock, Batman ducks it and knocks him out. As Bullseye falls, he tells Batman, "You hit harder than Daredevil." Batman tells Tim, "You didn't have to do that." And Tim tells him that he wasn't the one with the knife to his face. Then the bright light engulfs Tim and poof! Robin is gone. He finds himself in a young girl's room, specifically Jubilee of the X-Men's room. Her friend asks if she ordered a boy, and Jubilee says no, but I like his fashion sense. Back over in Metropolis, Superman flies into the Daily Planet, and as he enters, he meets his new chief, who quickly informs him that he is not some guy named Chief. He is J. Jonah Jameson. Perry White was fired. He looks at some interesting photos of Steel fighting some absorbing man, and then he begins to write his article. Because you see, the world is changing and everyone is aware. From kids to superheroes, people are appearing and disappearing all over. Clark is going to write an article about it because this must all add up to something. Fights are breaking out. New superheroes are fighting new supervillains. No one is even sure what's going on, and eventually the heroes will all have to meet. But at least right now they're just fighting the good fight. Steel versus the Absorbing Man was one, but we also have Green Lantern versus the Green Goblin, Captain America versus Bane, and Daredevil versus Riddler. Things get even more twisted with fights that we wished that we could see in full. Things like Batman versus Venom, Shazam versus Dr. Doom, Punisher versus Deathstroke, and Ghost Rider versus Etrigan. But misunderstandings are beginning to brew, like Firestorm and Martian Manhunter versus the Thing and the Human Torch. And friendships are starting to grow, like Hawkman teaming up with Angel. As Clark is putting the finishing touches on his article, Lois calls out to him to introduce him to the new photographer here at the Daily Planet, the one snapping all of the amazing photos. He tells Clark that his name is Ben Riley, but his professional name is Peter Parker, and you should call him that from now on. And as Clark compliments him, Peter tells him that he's just in the right place at the right time. They shake hands and they smile at each other, because it looks like Peter Parker is the new photographer for Clark Kent, since Jimmy Olsen has moved on to bigger and better things. And out in deep space, the Spectre is trying to understand what's happening. This power is immense and greater than he. So what is this power that the Spectre can't even stop? And over in another universe, another ultra-powerful individual is asking the same question. The cosmic balance is tilting, and the will of the living tribunal can't stop it, because there are two beings out there, and they started a war for the very existence of two worlds. Peter Parker and Clark Kent's first job together is to get the story of a man in a yellow costume with claws named Wolverine fighting against Killer Croc. As it goes in, Wolverine tells him, "I see why you go by the name Killer Croc, because you're nothing but a croc of." And as a beam goes into a nearby cop car, the man that they arrested leaps out shouting, "Shoot!" Croc sees Clark and Peter and tells Wolverine, "Ooh, an audience! They can watch me tear you to bits." Wolverine jumps in, "Good. They can applaud your final curtain." Both Clark and Peter say to themselves that they have to change costumes, but how can they without getting the other guy suspicious? But as the man who leaped out of the car wanders into a back alley, he discovers that he's in the one with the box. The man with the hat calls back, "Good, you're back!" And the mystery man asks, "What's the box?" "For crying out loud, boy, the fate of the world is in our hands. I don't have time for exposition." Off in deep space, Thanos is looking at his monitors as Darkseid boom tubes into his control room with a twisted smile on his face. And in the Croc and Wolverine fight, Nightwing looks down on it, seeing it. He prepares to leap into battle to stop them before they can hurt the civilians, but someone is charging up a card behind him. Up above the city, Storm sees Wonder Woman and they both question who the other is. And in another spot with lightning cracking behind them, Bane is lifting Captain America over his head, telling him, "You are weak for throwing your shield and it's your only weapon." But before he can break Cap, the shield comes back, hitting Bane in the back of the head, dropping him. Captain America looks at his fallen foe. "No more back talk from you." Over at the box, though, the lights are shining and beaming out of it, and the duct tape is no longer holding back the brothers. And even the Spectre and the Living Tribunal are feeling the effects. Down on the ground, Nightwing sees Batman, and he tells him that he just had a fight with a Cajun, and he ran off with some hairy, smelly guy. Nightwing tells him they're probably miles away now. And that's when Wolverine and Gambit race by in the Batmobile that they just stole. Nightwing asks Batman what else can go wrong, and Batman tells him to calm down. Because in the Batcave, the Moleman is walking in, and Batman is a bit more worried about where Robin went. But Tim, he's not in a bad place. He's currently sitting on Jubilee's bed as they discuss his fashion choices and how much she loves them. Down at the box, though, the light breaks through, and all across both universes, everyone can finally see what's going on. The brothers are free, and they are now aware of each other. And as the light shone out, these words could be heard by all of the heroes of both universes. You see, in the beginning, there were two brothers. Although they could be sisters as well, they were sexless and everything in between. They encompassed the whole of everything, and they entered into battles against each other, which would always end in the destruction of all of creation. And the explosion of death and rebirth, they were blown apart, and their shattered existence brought on the multiverse. It took them eons to even remember that they had consciousness in this fragmented state. But as time went on, they learned and eventually learned of each other. Once again, they realized that there was no longer a me, but there was an us thing. They decided that they could not exist with their lack of uniqueness, nor was either of them whole. In their battles centuries ago, some of their fragments ended up in the other's universes, and both of them desired to be whole and unique, and they learned the futility of a head-on struggle. They put out their respective super beings to fight against each other in a war to end all wars, and the problem is that some of these champions are so powerful that a battle would continue forever with no true conclusion. So the rules are simple. You need to immobilize the other one first to win. Whichever side loses the most matches will be lost forever. And so, with every hero aware of the stakes, the battles begin! The end of the universe is to be decided, and the heroes realize what must be done. So as Shazam lands in front of Thor, they both stare at each other, and Shazam asks him, "Who are you?" "Thor, son of Odin, god of thunder. You?" "Shazam, with the strength of Hercules, power of Zeus, and speed of Mercury." "I see. Well, Shazam, there's only one thing to do for those possessing the powers of gods at this point." And they both kneel and pray. Over at Thanos' base, Darkseid is looking at the power growing in him. "A disciple of death versus a lord of destruction. Tell me then, Darkseid, would you care to wager on the outcome of this battle?" "I wager that you're a pale imitation of me, and that you will lose." Down in the alleyway, Marvel's Scarecrow and DC's Scarecrow are hauling off Lois Lane as old Peter Parker jumps in, dropping them both. Superman flies by scanning the ground and sees that Lois is safe thanks to this new photographer, and he wonders if he should be jealous. Back at the first fight though, Shazam starts it off with a right hook landing with a bracow! "This is nuts! Instead of fighting, we should be finding a way to make these cosmic babies work together." Thor smacks him with his hammer. "Agreed. But if we refuse to battle, we will never have the time to research that solution." Shazam lands at the base of a Ferris wheel and Thor soars in with his hammer. He hovers above him. "I would welcome your surrender, Shazam." And then he hits the entire Ferris wheel, dropping it on top of Shazam. Thinking fast and realizing that he can't be immobilized for even a second, he calls out the magical word that grants him his powers. Shazam! And once again, Billy Batson is small enough to escape. Thor comes down realizing that he has a weaker alter ego, and Billy calls out the word Shazam! Again, so that Thor can see that it's a magical lightning that grants Shazam his powers. The lightning is something that he can control with his hammer. So he throws it into the path of the magical lightning, and the backlash throws him to the ground as well. Thor is fine, and he gets up seeing Billy unconscious, declaring, "Thor is the winner." But he has no idea where his hammer landed. Meanwhile, Wonder Woman walks up on a smoking hammer, and she reads the words written on it. "Whosoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor." She reaches down, wondering what worthy means, as it's a truly subjective topic, and she feels the power coursing through her. Deep down in the oceans, Namor is getting frustrated as Aquaman is straight out dodging his moves. "Stay still! I can end this quickly and spare you serious harm!" And Aquaman smirks at him. "I would love to, but you're so muscle-bound and slow I can't help but dodging. Face facts, pointy ears were too evenly matched. At this rate, neither of us will land and bracoom! Namor hits him so hard he lands him out of the water. And as he swims away, I believe the word that you sought was punch. And the winner is Namor? Maybe? Over on a street, a man and his son are driving a tractor trailer down the street when they see what happens to be a tornado. To the naked eye, that's what you would believe, but in all actuality, it's the Flash punching Quicksilver. You're fast, Quicksilver, I'll give you that. In your universe, you might even be the fastest man alive. But the fastest car in the world still looks like a snail next to a supersonic transport. He runs up punching Quicksilver and catching him by the face. It's too bad that we have to be at each other's throats. We'd be better friends than enemies. And as Quicksilver is getting hit, he tries to get out the words. I have more than enough, ow, both. All I need is a triumph so that my universe can survive. Well, don't shoot the messenger, but your universe is in serious trouble. And at that moment, the truck begins to barrel towards them as they are in the middle of the road. It careens off to avoid them, and the Flash, being a hero, he ignores the fight and he runs in to save the man and his son. As he sets them down, Quicksilver sees his opening and he goes in for rapid punches. As the Flash is hitting the ground, he thinks to himself, what a wonderful triumph this'll be, taking down an opponent after he risked his life to save others. But that wasn't enough as the Flash jumps back up and begins to beat on Quicksilver. Almost had me there, fella. But he who hesitates is lost. The Flash then brushes off his hands, as the Flash is the winner. Meanwhile, Aquaman isn't actually defeated as he hasn't stopped moving and he gets out of the water. Up behind him is the orca that he used to bring him to the shoreline, and that's when Namor jumps in to continue their fight. Aquaman throws an unbreakable cord around Namor and pulls him down to the ground so that the orca can jump on top of him, completely immobilizing him. The true winner is Aquaman. Over in a jungle, Jubilee is sitting on a rock writing away. Dear Diary, been a while, huh? Sorry I haven't written, so I'll tell you the truth. Things have been kinda crappy. Well, to tell you the truth, things have been way crappy. Like the whole universe is coming to an end crazy. Where do I start? Okay, this is what I know. This is our universe, right? And then there's this other one, kind of like ours, but different? Yeah, major revelations, right? Especially the heroes, because they're trying to keep total chaos from breaking out. The reason I know this now is because the two universes starting to merge. People, buildings, everything crossing from one side to another. Naturally, everyone freaks. The thing is, nobody can figure out what's going on. Not even the big deal brains like Miss Frost or Professor Xavier. I mean, everybody wants to know why this is happening. Maybe we should even ask. I still don't even understand what I know, but here it is. There are two gods, and they're the embodiment of everything in their universe. A little tough to grasp, I know. Anyway, they both forgot the other one existed, and once they noticed, they each wanted to be unique. So they decided to find out whose universe was better, and they decided to pick champions, including your favorite pyrokinetic mutant. Once it's all over, one universe is going to get erased. It already started. Thor beat Shazam, Namor lost to Aquaman, and Quicksilver couldn't outrun the Flash. As of right now, we're losing 2-1. Tim Drake Robin walks over and places his hand on Jubilee's shoulder, telling her, it's time to get going. She tells him that she's gonna wrap up and she closes the diary. I hope this isn't the end, diary, but if it is, then it's been fun. Love, Jubilee. They teleported to a giant toy room and Robin looks at her. This is it, I guess. I wish you all the luck, Jubilee, but you know. Yeah, I know, Robin. She leans in, giving him a kiss, surprising him. Whatever happens, happens. Let's get this over with. And she throws the fireworks at Robin as he leaps over them. She keeps flinging them as she tells herself, this almost doesn't seem fair. You have no powers. And Robin keeps jumping over the moves. Who says I need them? And he vanishes into the darkness above them, leaving Jubilee to question where he went. She looks around. I know I can beat you if I just find you. And then she sees his cape. Except as she's looking that way, he leaps in from behind because he threw his cape as a distraction. He ties her up, completely immobilizing her as per the rules. She falls over. Can't even! This is unbelievable! And Robin lands asking, is that too tight? She tells him, you know, I'm just shocked I didn't even land one punch. And then she looks into his eyes. You're planning on untying me, right, handsome? And Robin smiles back. When you put it that way, the winner is Robin. Out in deep space, the Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner, is sitting on a massive construct, preparing for his battle. Man, I really don't want to do this. And the Silver Surfer comes soaring in. Nor is it to my liking, Green Lantern, but this combat between us is necessary. In the past, you and I have preserved our two universes by acting together. Now we must save one by battling each other. As Kyle launches his missiles at the Silver Surfer, he soars past him, throwing Kyle off of his construct. The entities that we face, Green Lantern, they are more powerful than Galactus. And as the Surfer comes in to blast the Green Lantern, he pulls up a construct shield to catch the blast. And then he forms a full suit of armor around himself as he rides a giant metal dragon. I'm just saying I don't like this Silver Surfer, but I'll try everything I can to win. As they charge at each other, Surfer tells him, as will I. They collide in a burst of power cosmic in the Green Lantern's light, and then the surfer lands over the fallen Kyle Rayner as he is unconscious on the board. The winner is the Silver Surfer. Over in Gotham, Electra walks towards Catwoman. First blood to you, Catwoman. And Catwoman throws her whip around. I don't even know why I'm here. I'm not a hero, so why was I picked to be a champion? As Electra runs in, flinging her size, Catwoman dodges, telling her, and forgive me, but you don't seem like the hero type either, Electra. Catwoman throws her whip around, grabbing Electra's arm, but Electra throws the entire thing, chucking Catwoman off of the building. As she's holding on, she can't help but notice, Electra is a strong little thing, isn't she? Electra then cuts the whip, dropping Catwoman from the building and into a pile of sand, knocking her out. The winner is Electra. Meanwhile, back in Metropolis, Peter Parker is talking to Lois, and he decides, I'm gonna ask her out on a date. And as he does, Clark walks over telling Peter that she's engaged to me. Peter gets up embarrassed and he walks into the dark room to develop some film. But as he's wallowing in his own mistakes, as per usual for Peter Parker, the bright light hits him and he's warped away. Meanwhile, all the way in the alleyway, with the box that started all of this, the man with the hat looks at the other mysterious man telling him, you are the key. You are Axel Asher, and the answer lies within you. The hidden power awakens inside of Axel, and the suit is teleported onto him. You are a shard of the two brothers, Axel, like I am. We are the keepers of the two universes. You are the next keeper as my time is almost up. That's why you keep coming back to this spot. You now have to become the hero, known as Access. It now falls to you to keep the balance between the two universes. Yeah, but how? Meanwhile, over in a seedy bar, Wolverine jumps on Lobo as Lobo calls him out. You bastard! You call yourself Wolverine? Coming into one of my hangouts for this brawl was your last mistake. Wolverine jumps on him. This dump? I ain't here by choice, Lobo. Probably can't even get a decent brew. Lobo buries his hook into Wolverine's chest. And Wolverine looks at it shocked, and then he grabs it, yanking it out of his own chest, telling Lobo, did anyone mention to you that I'm a mutant? Got this healing factor that lets me take a lot of punishment, almost as much as I could dish out. And he grits his teeth and he leaps back in. He begins swiping over and over, almost like he's shouting out, Swiss cheese, until they fall behind the bar. Then a single glove reaches up, and Wolverine grabs a cigar out of the ashtray, taking a puff. The winner is Wolverine. Off in a city far from that location, Wonder Woman is hovering in the sky, amazed at this newfound power that she has been granted by simply touching the hammer of Thor. But from behind her, Storm arrives telling her she is Storm, and she was teleported here to fight against Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman looks at her. I fear that you have no hope in winning while I wield this hammer. Perhaps, but I will not yield. So Wonder Woman looks at the hammer, and she drops it. Because while she could gain an easy victory with it, such a battle would not be fair for an Amazon. They leap in to begin their battle as Wonder Woman tells Storm that even though they fight as intended, the victory will still be hers. Storm begins to summon up a large thunderstorm, and Wonder Woman grabs her by the leg. You'll need more than a bad storm to beat me. And she kicks Storm in the head. In response, Storm hits her with endless lightning over and over until eventually Wonder Woman passes out. She falls to the ground and Storm swoops in, picking her up so she doesn't hit it hard. The winner is Storm. Over in Greenwich Village, Superboy is getting webs in his eyes. No fair! He tears it off looking around. All right, Spider-Man, where did you go? Spider-Man is behind him, calling him out. Superboy, over here. If you can't even find me, we're going to be going at this all day. Furious, Superboy flies over, using his tactile telekinesis on the water tower that Spider-Man is hiding on. I'm gonna find you, bug boy! Whoa, that's a neat trick. So what are you, Superman's second cousin? I'm a clone. Try to grasp the concept. Spider-Man, hot off the clone saga, snaps to the term. A clone? Yeah, a clone. Hope you don't have a problem getting your butt kicked by one. As Superboy jumps up to Spider-Man, he kicks him in the jaw with a double heel kick. If there's any kicking going on, Junior, it's gonna be my foot in your face. Spider-Man jumps down to fight more, but then he sees that Superboy is missing. Where are you? The sneaking is supposed to be my gag. Superboy then charges out of the floor, throwing Spider-Man. Superboy then charges at Spider-Man with an electrical box behind him. Spider-Man gets up and he fires his impact webbing at Superboy, and it hits him up, wrapping him in a net, causing him to crash into the electrical box. Superboy falls unconscious, causing the winner to be Spider-Man. Meanwhile, over in Metropolis, Superman lands to find the Hulk crushing Metallo. I guess you're the Superman that this metal freak has been talking about. I am, and you're called the Hulk? Actually, I prefer Dr. Banner, or Bruce. Metallo gets up, I'm going to kill both of you! They combo punch him in the face, taking him down, and then the bright light appears, grabbing them both, and poof! They find themselves in the Grand Canyon to prevent any harm from coming to civilians. The Hulk, of course, opens up by punching Superman. He crashes through the mountains around them and he gets up furious. With a punch like that, it's pretty obvious that a full blast of heat vision won't be fatal, but I doubt even you can withstand it completely. Superman fires his heat vision at full blast into the Hulk, and the Hulk raises his hands into the air. I can withstand a lot, and he brings them both down into a double hammer smash, throwing Superman off. They both charge in swinging, and the ground around them is throwing shards and rocks around at the sheer impact of Superman versus Hulk. Back and forth they go until Superman's had enough. I prefer to call you a friend, Hulk, but for the sake of everything, I don't think I can. So to save my world, my universe, and most of all the woman I love, I have to put you down. Superman throws everything into a punch so hard that it throws Hulk into a nearby mountain, knocking him out. The winner is Superman. Deep down in the sewers of New York, Batman is kicking Captain America in the face. Cap hits Batman with the shield, throwing him into a wall, so Batman grabs a pipe, kicking Captain America back. They both debate who is stronger and how they should be fighting side by side, not against each other. And Batman throws a punch, but Captain America dodges and returns with one harder. Batman and Cap are both breathing heavy and exhausted. We've been at this for hours. We could battle for days and not have a winner until one of us drops from exhaustion. We should be looking for another option. We weren't given a choice. We have to fight until someone goes down. Billions upon billions of lives hinge on these battles. We should be trying to find a way to circumvent this, stop the cosmic beings from wiping out one universe or the other. How? If there's no outcome, the entities might well destroy both universes. I know you weren't around then, but in the 40s I became Captain America to save the world from the greatest threat it had ever known. That's still what I'm trying to do. We're like rats in a maze, Batman. We have to follow this through to the end. One of the reasons that I became Batman was to protect innocence. I suppose that this is no different. Alright then. May the best man, and at that moment the sewer system is getting flushed out, separating our heroes. It throws Captain America off and he misses with his shield, and then he's flushed out of the system with water pouring all over him. Batman leaps in to save him and he pulls him out of the water, and together they climb out of the sewers and into the alleyway. As they get out together, Cap tells Batman, "Thank you." And Batman says, "I may have doomed the entire universe." But that's when they find something else, a possible answer to this whole conflict. The glowing box. The man in the hat tells Access to do it! Do what I told you! So Access reaches out, touching both Captain America and Batman. A massive bright light beams into the skies as the man in the hat shouts, "It's happening! It's happening!" And with that, Access did the one thing to save the universes that no one thought of before. From this day forward, the universes of Marvel and DC will be merged and become one singular universe. There will no longer be two brothers, but one individual. Welcome to the Amalgam universe. Amalgam. Any combination or mixture of a diverse element. Hyena, Joker mixed with Sabretooth. Darkclaw, a mix of Batman and Wolverine. This is the results of the brothers being merged by our newest hero, Access. You see, you have walked into the middle of a battle between the DC and Marvel universes. The winner of this battle will remain, while the loser's universe will be erased from the history books. To potentially save everyone, something new was born. The Amalgam universe, and that is where we are now. Darkclaw leaps over the rooftops, calling out to Hyena, "I'm warning you!" And Hyena bounds ahead of him. "Well now, thanks for the warning, Dark Meat. Luckily for me, warnings ruin your element of surprise." And Hyena takes a swing with a pipe, hitting the gas grenade with the Darkclaw symbol on it into the crown. Then, Super Soldier jumps in, blocking it with his shield. Super Soldier, a merge of Superman and Captain America. Hyena turns surprised to see him and he begins to fly over to him, looking down at Darkclaw. Isn't it fun when they shout your name in fear? Darkclaw pops his claws with a snick. Fear I can relate to. I never quite got the hang of fun. These heroes fight their meaningless skirmishes, all unknowing of the true way around them. You see, the old guardian of the two universes, the one that was keeping the two of them separate, is the one who told Access to merge these universes. And he knows what he did is wrong as he lies dying there. Out in the cosmics of the universe, the Living Tribunal and Spectre are holding together the universes, and Access is using this power to merge the universes. The old Guardian thought it would make the brothers happy, but it did not. Hyena leaps onto a rooftop, looking behind him. "Ha! I would like to see you find me now!" And as he turns to face forward, there stands Super Soldier and Darkclaw as he calls out, "How?" Hyena backflips off of the roof as Super Soldier tells him to give it up. Then he replies, telling them, "Don't make me laugh!" Darkclaw looks at Super Soldier. Wait for him downstairs. I'll go through and flush out the garbage. But elsewhere, Access can see the power brewing within him, and he looks around to see himself out in the cosmics looking at the Living Tribunal and Spectre. The two men keeping themselves from merging, keeping the universes truly separate, and then his power kicks in, sending him back home. He walks out next to the old Guardian, and the Guardian tells him that he had to pull some of Fate's strings to get the Super Soldier and Darkclaw into the alley. You need to fix this, Access. This universe can't continue and exist. Its fate will be worse than one of the universes being wiped out. Good luck, kid. By the way, the name's Morty. Glad we met. Then there's an explosion as the old Guardian is wiped out of the universe, which gathers the attention of Super Soldier as he is standing nearby. At that moment, Hyena comes bursting through the wall, and he looks at Access and sees a potential hostage. But as he goes in to attack him, Access grabs him, throwing him into the box. Darkclaw and Super Soldier run over asking, "What the hell did you do to Hyena?" And Access looks at them and begins to use his powers on them. I hid the shards of the original universe in you too. It's what Fate has been looking for, and it's time to send it all back. Super Soldier asks him, "What are you doing?" And Access explains, "I'm giving Spectre and the Living Tribunal access to the power within you, and I'm using it to restore the universe." In other words, and as he prepares to say it, all of the Amalgam heroes begin to get torn apart. Let there be light! And with all of our original Marvel and DC heroes back to normal, they walk out into the light. As quickly and as definitively as it had come together, the universe that was Amalgam was blown apart into the two different universes. Access, a twig caught in a hurricane, was buffeted mercilessly, and he is convinced that the thought currently passing through his head will be his last. Frustration overwhelms him because it's a really lame thought, not even worth repeating. And then, to his astonishment, he does come to a halt, and he realizes, I'm in the same alley, and next to him is Batman and Captain America again. "We're sick of being your pawns," Batman tells him as Cap asks, "How do we wind up here, and where is everyone else?" Meanwhile, down in the Batcave, Moleman is looking through his new kingdom until Hulk is standing there, calling him out. Moleman looks on angry, intending to be the champion in this, as he sends his Moloids in to attack the Hulk. The Hulk taps the giant penny in the Batcave, dropping it on the minions of the Moleman. Come on, it's Moleman! What did you think the Hulk was gonna do? The Moloids all tackle Hulk, basically trying to overwhelm him, and then they begin to carry out their greatest weapon, as they call it. And that's when Superman comes crashing through the wall. Alright, enough of that. This place happens to belong to an associate of mine, and I'll thank you people to vacate immediately. Hulk sees him and he tells himself, "Now there's someone I never thought I'd be happy to see." The blast on the weapon goes off and Superman takes the hit with Hulk. "My jaw still aches from our last fight, Hulk." And Hulk snarks, "Superman versus the Moleman? This should be a short fight." And realizing that the Hulk is right, Moleman leaps into a hole, taking his Moloids with him. Hulk looks at Superman. "Do you have any idea what just happened?" "Nope, but I have a feeling it's not over yet." While a universe away, right next door, beings of cosmic proportions compare their notes. Spectre says, "The universes are momentarily safe, still distinct but overlapping. The unleashed energies have placed key individuals back into different environments than before. It's nothing short of miraculous that they even exist." The Living Tribunal explains, "It is not over yet. We have only delayed the inevitable. The brothers must be reconciled. The brothers must coexist. The brothers." And then there's a loud boom! "Must be angry." And with that, there's a loud explosion across all of the universes in the galaxies. The power unleashed is so large that the Spectre and Living Tribunal are left in awe at its sheer magnitude. Meanwhile, over at the Daily Planet, the Kingpin is trying to get his way until Spider-Man comes swinging in. Fisk gets ready to battle against one of his oldest enemies until he's lifted off of the ground by Superboy. Over in the middle of Venice, Robin and Jubilee are taking a boat ride without a care in the world. And in the middle of the city, Lobo is fighting against Thanos, with Thanos demanding to know where Darkseid is. "We must finish this!" And as Thanos throws Lobo around, Wolverine jumps in from behind, claws ready, and he slashes into Thanos. Lobo looks up. "It'll be a cold day in hell when I need your help, bastard." And Wolverine snaps back at him. "Then it just got pretty chilly down below." Thanos fires a blast. "Down below! The sphere is hell enough already!" Except that's when the target that Thanos is looking for arrives. Darkseid booms in. "Thanos, did you truly think that you could hide from the Lord of Apocalypse? If you are so enamored by death, prepare to embrace her." Except before the big fight, Shazam, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, Thor, Storm, and Silver Surfer all arrive to put them down. Darkseid fires his Omega beams at Thor, who deflects them with his hammer, and Silver Surfer bombards Darkseid with a power cosmic, while Shazam, Green Lantern, and Wonder Woman all hit Thanos with everything in a single blow. Darkseid finds an opening and he fires his Omega beams again at Thor, causing him to drop his hammer. And as Thanos throws Shazam aside and knocks Wonder Woman out, he calls to Darkseid, "I have not forgotten you. As Thor picks himself back up, he looks around for his hammer, and Wonder Woman hands it to him. Stunned and shocked, Thor simply tells her, thank you. As the fight continues, it begins to end. As the sky is literally falling and everything is collapsing around them. Cap covers his head as he tells Axis to take him and Batman to the brothers. This needs to end now. Batman, Captain America, and Axis all land on a planet next to the brothers, and they see the specks on the swords, and they realize that Spectre and Living Tribunal are so small in comparison that they are holding onto the brothers' weapons, literally trying to hold them back. Captain America says they have to go back and form an army, and Axis tells them that the Spectre is more powerful than 1 billion armies. Look at how he's faring. So basically, you're telling me that this is some sort of cosmic state of mind? Basically, yes, Batman says, and Cap tells him, then let's change our minds. Everyone within this universe looks around at the hemorrhaging sky, the bleeding of reality. They are witnessing the end of everything. Their thoughts, their fears, horrors, regrets. They are all private, all save for one, who chooses to give voice to this. A voice that speaks with the hush of a newly dying star. As Thanos says, it is the most beautiful thing that I have ever seen. Out in the unreality around them, Batman and Captain America leap into the battle. They shout, they plead, but ultimately, they fail, and the brothers clash. The brothers destroy all of reality, and as it's falling apart, the brothers see something. A child witnessing his parents being gunned down, swearing vengeance, unselfishly devoting his life to protecting those that cannot protect themselves. From the nothing of a blighted soul, he fashioned a dark guardian and joined the others in battles. He became one among many, but forever remained unique. And they see a young man with willing spirit and weak flesh subjecting himself to experiments so that he could fight against a great evil. A man whose battle carries him across decades to a harsh, cynical world that needed him even more, and was even less willing to admit it. He found new enemies and new allies. He became one among many and remained forever unique. The brothers stop and they look at each other as if seeing each other truly for the first time. Centuries and eons pass, and as they come to the realization that they are all that is reality, and their fight has brought them smaller than the smallest of their components. 1 billion more years pass, and for the first time in unrecorded history, the brothers speak. And they say the same thing as they shake hands. You've done well. Billions of years roll back on themselves and the status quo is restored. The universes are separate once more with the super beings of both worlds, not truly understanding what just happened.
And there you have it, the infamous DC vs. Marvel crossover event in the Amalgam universe. What did you guys think of this? Which fights do you agree and disagree with the outcome? Let us know down below, like and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time. Rest in peace, Benny.